Am I wrong for telling my cousin's fiancé that her nephew is actually her child? Some context. I live in a country where marriage is a gigantic aspect of one's life. If you have a child out of wedlock, then your life is pretty much over, especially if you're a woman. I have a cousin. I used to really like her as a child, but she grew up to be very scummy and intolerable. Long story short, she's a homewrecker, gold digger, and does drugs which can get your entire family in jail, because it's extremely illegal here. Rehab has not worked. She also has a child out of wedlock, young preteen. It has been a lot of effort on our family to help her raise her child, so when she said she found a man, we were all very happy. Her man turned out to be one of the most intelligent, kindest, and respectful people I have ever met in my entire life. He is organized, structured, educated, etc. The complete opposite of my cousin. Well, the pandemic has forced all of my family to be in very close quarters with one another. And I got a big glimpse into my cousin and her fiancé's relationship, and it is not healthy at all. Not at all. Nope. She manages to put on a front most of the time, but there are other times where she's extremely manipulative and abusive to him. She calls him names, tells him he needs to make more money, judges his decisions, is insanely jealous of every woman he hangs around including his actual sister, etc. etc. She's done drugs in his house, and she's also lied to him, and says that her son is actually her nephew. She told him that she wants to bring her nephew with them when they get married, but it's not a deal breaker. Really? Your child isn't a ducking deal breaker? So I've actually just so happened to see this type of situation play out in real life. One of my uncles who used to be extremely pristine and strict married a woman who, well, she wasn't nice. Divorce isn't really a thing in my region, so he was stuck with her, spiraled into an alcohol addiction, and was never the same afterwards. I don't know if my cousin's fiancé would have ever went to that level, but I didn't want him to ducking ruin his life marrying my cousin. I told him that I was concerned about their relationship. He just said that he's working on it. I also told my cousin to tone her crap down, but she blew up in my face for it. Months and months passed. Everything stayed the same. I could see her fiancé growing miserable, but the wedding date was nearing. One day while we were having lunch, I just let it slip that my cousin's nephew is actually her son. I guess manipulation and abuse wasn't enough to steer him away, but revealing to him that his fiancé had a son out of wedlock was enough, and he left soon after. My cousin was, of course, extremely pissed, but I told her that she shouldn't have hid her son in the first place and she shouldn't have treated him like crap. My entire family is fuming at me now though. Am I wrong? Am I wrong for telling my daughter to stop using my mom for free childcare, even though she babysat my kids for free when they were little? My mom is 80. My daughter has 2 kids, 3 and 1. My mom is still able to walk, drive, take care of herself, etc. but she's not in great health. She can't play, bend down easily, or do anything outside of the bare minimum. And the bare minimum is really hard on her. I've had some time off, so I've been coming by to hang out with my mom. I've been telling my daughter that my mom is getting old and she shouldn't be watching the kids. But my daughter said it's only occasionally when she has to work and has no other option. Come to find out, my mom watches them every day Monday to Friday 8 AM to 4:30 PM. She knows she can't do it, but she feels bad and doesn't want to tell my daughter no. I called my daughter and told her that she needs to find other childcare and my mom cannot physically watch her kids anymore. She said that's not an option because she has to work. We went back and forth. She threw it in my face that my mom watched her and my son when they were kids, and how it's hypocritical of me to demand she not use grandma for childcare when I did the same thing. While that's true, my mom was 25 years younger then. It would be one thing to ask me her mom to watch them. I can't because I work, but asking grandma is too much. Am I wrong for not staying with my son in the neonatal intensive care unit? My son was born Friday night on his due date. We had a healthy pregnancy and expected a healthy baby. Unfortunately, he ended up developing pneumonia our first night in the hospital and was transferred to the neonatal intensive care unit NICU. He will be there for at least 7 days. The hospital has private NICU rooms with a shared bathroom, no shower, a single person pull-out couch and a recliner. Due to global issues, restrictions are kind of tight, nowhere to really escape the room. I'm still recovering from delivery, have 2 other boys at home to tend to, 3 animals. The first afternoon I was discharged, we went home, so I could shower and nap. Came back early today. Every nurse we've had asks if we are staying overnight, if we will be there for me to feed, etc. I tell them no, but I will be there as much as I can. I feel so guilty for not being there constantly. I'm exhausted, sore, and being there causes me extreme anxiety and really wears on me. Am I wrong for not staying around the clock with him? Am I wrong for kicking my ex-boyfriend out of my apartment, making him homeless? Long time lurker, first time poster. This may be an easy judgment, but I'm so conflicted that I'm unsure of myself. Background: I, 21 female, have been with my partner Brent, 20 male, on and off for 5 years now. This time around, we have been going strong for 2 years straight. I broke up with him a month ago because he was dishonest about the circumstances of visiting his ex-girlfriend. There had been cheating, dishonesty, and a lot of disrespect in the past, so I told him the next time that something like that happened, I was done. It happened again and so I was done. We broke up while I was back in my hometown for the summer, and I didn't initially kick him out of my apartment because 1. I had previously agreed to let him stay in my apartment for the summer because his lease ended, plans fell through, and had nowhere to go, so I let stay in my apartment until he figured out his living situation, and 2. To watch our pets and my houseplants. Since we have been together for so long, and he was genuinely one of my best friend regardless, I let him stay as long as he respected my boundaries and my living space. Situation: Brent and I had been giving each other some space, but still trying to be respectful and understanding given the circumstances. Up until crap hit the fan. I found out that he ducked one of my closest friends and first friend in college, Polly, 21 female. I found out because one of my other friends saw him at work literally covered in hikers, and Polly told me that her and Brent had a movie night the night before. It didn't take much to put 2 and 2 together. I got the confirmation from Brent that they did duck, and I was so hurt I immediately threw up. Because not only did I lose my partner of 5 years, I also lost one of my best friends. I sent Polly a message essentially saying that I was hurt, disrespected, and disgusted in her actions, and hopes that she understands that I no longer want her in my life, and blocked her before she could respond. This is where I think I'm the butthole. I told Brent that I wanted him out of my apartment immediately, and that I would have someone check to make sure he's gone, or I would be calling the cops. I wasn't actually, I just wanted him to know that I was being serious. He was so angry. He told me that I couldn't expect him to move out in only 1 day, that I was an entitled and selfish witch. I told him that he should have thought about that before screwing one of my best friends. He packed up his crap, put it in a storage unit, and is couch surfing with, and here's some irony, his best friend's ex-girlfriend. He's blaming me for making him essentially homeless during a really rough time for everybody. I couldn't handle the thought of him living it up in my place rent-free after doing something like this. After my initial anger wore off, I started to second guess myself. I feel like I'm the butthole for kicking him out and making him homeless during global issues. So am I wrong? Am I wrong for being upset when my girlfriend donated my deceased son's stroller? My male 34 son passed away from severe infection at the age of 3. My ex-wife and I got into too many fights, constantly basically just blaming each other for what happened. We got separated eventually, and I met my girlfriend Natalie after a short time and we started hanging out together. She helped me with my depression and ease my pain by hanging out and doing different things with her. We decided it was time to take our relationship further, and she then moved in with me in my house. Before she moved in, she did some cleaning, since I didn't clean a lot, and put some stuff in boxes including my son's toys and stroller, and put them in the basement. At first I felt uneasy for her to transfer my son's room into a guest room, but she convinced me that this change was needed. She always made major changes in my bedroom and moved her stuff in, saying that she didn't like the bedroom because it used to be my ex-wife's bedroom. She's been living with me for 2 months. She kept asking about those boxes she put in the basement and whether we should donate things that we don't need anymore. I told her to leave things as they are because I didn't have time to sort them out, and I was worried there might be some of my son's belongings there. So I told her to give me some time and that we will do it together when I have nothing to do. Yesterday, I came home from work and I found her in the basement with only 2 boxes left. I looked around and I didn't find my son's stroller. I asked her and she said that she waited for too long, and since I didn't have time she decided to sort through things and donate the stuff we didn't need. She told me that she took the stroller along with other stuff and donated them. I got so mad I couldn't even talk. All I did was yell at her for taking the stroller that she knew that I value so much because it has memories of my son. I asked if my son's belongings were bothering her since only his things have been donated. She got offended by this and tried to make it look like it was no big deal. She even said I shouldn't keep since I don't need it. I told her to go get it back along with everything else. She said I was being ridiculous and that I need to control my anger because she wasn't going to go back and ask the charity for the stuff back. She refused to give me the name of the charity, repeatedly telling me to not embarrass her. We got into a huge argument and she left and hasn't talked to me after that. I keep calling her, but she won't pick up. She sent me a text saying how hurt she felt and that I need to apologize to her for treating her like this. That's all she said. Didn't let me take the stuff back and refuses to have a conversation with me on the phone. Am I wrong for reporting 2 small dogs attacking me and possibly getting them taken to the pound and getting my neighbors kicked out? I, 22 female, am 8 months pregnant. I'm basically ready to pop and am all baby, as my family says. This means that I struggle with balance and can't really see things on the ground or close to it. Last week, my sister woke up late, which never happens, and she didn't have time to take her dog out before she had to log on to her Zoom classes. So I offered to take her dog, so the dog didn't have to wait until her break in 5 hours. I'm standing there, letting the dog do her thing, and hear some barking. I look up and notice 2 small dogs, under 10 pounds, definitely running around off leash, but I see their owner, so I just keep an eye on them. Suddenly, one runs over to me and my dog and starts biting my dog. My dog is about 30 pounds, and keep in mind I'm 8 months pregnant, but I scoop her up and hold her over my head so the other dog can't bite her. I start trying to turn around to get up my stairs, with my dog growling and trying to bite this little dog who is jumping up and biting us both and scratching me, and I almost trip over the other little dog. No idea when it came over, who starts biting and scratching me. The owners didn't even get them until I was already up my stairs and didn't apologize or ask if I was okay. I ended up calling the non-emergency police since animal control wasn't open, even though I only had some scratches and bruises. No bites broke the skin. It ended up being a whole mess, but here is the end result. They got a citation, and our landlord is pissed because he also could get fined for their dogs being off leash and aggressive. It could raise his insurance, and there's a lot of kids in our neighborhood and he doesn't want next time to result in a child getting seriously hurt. This man is a saint, I swear, and he's never kicked anyone out before, and my mom has lived here for 7 years and he hasn't raised the rent. I've accidentally caused property damage and he didn't charge us. Him being pissed is something I never see, so it's a big deal. He mentioned to my mom that he would wait to see what comes from the report, but he may evict them, and asked if I was okay, and if I was comfortable with him not moving forward with the eviction until he had more information. Today, animal control came by to talk to them, and while I didn't see it, I think they took their dogs. I think I may be wrong, because they didn't break my skin with the bites, so I won't get rabies, and they didn't draw blood on my dog, and this is an older couple that's like 50 plus. They've been here for at least 3 years, so they pay way less in rent, and with global issues, I don't know if they'll be able to find a comparable price. I'd feel awful if after losing their dogs they can't find a place to live either, but then again, they didn't get their dogs under control, and me, my unborn baby, and my dog could have been really hurt, and they didn't so much as ask if I was okay. Edit. I was bleeding when I called the non-emergency number, but I couldn't tell if it was from scratches or bites, and I was scared of rabies. They also didn't bring their dogs inside. The dogs were still running around in the street and other yards, so I was scared to approach them and ask about the dogs' shot records. I was just wanting to get their shot records and have them be told about leash laws. It wasn't my intention for their dogs to, possibly, be taken away almost a week later, or for them to possibly be kicked out. Edit 2. I wish I had screenshot the comment before it was deleted, but to the person who told me my baby was going to be a stillborn because I was a witch, that's actually extremely likely due to health issues, and is another reason I was so worried about rabies. I have an appointment soon to find out if my baby is still okay, because I've had several issues over the past few weeks, not including this. Thanks for reminding me that I may be worried over a being I can't help. Am I wrong for yelling at a special needs lady to stop touch my baby? I recently had a baby girl in January of this year, making her 8 months old now. I have a neighbor who is in her 50/60s with special needs. She understands everything, she lives on her own, so it's not like she can't do day-to-day things. Now here's where the butthole comes into play. Since schools are back, my oldest daughter walks herself there, but to get fresh air, me and my baby walk to get her after school. For the past few weeks my neighbor has been outside and come up to say hello. The problem is she touches my baby's face every time. I've asked repeatedly over to please not touch her because of everything going on. Today I finally snapped. I went to get my eldest as usual and there she was. Came up to us, said hi, then went in to touch my baby's face. I pulled her away and told her stop touching my baby. She got mad at me and walked away. A few people said I'm in the right, but a couple said it was a sick move. I don't know, am I wrong? Am I wrong for telling my neighbors to mind their business while I'm walking my dog? I recently got a puppy about a month ago, and she loves being outside. I'm working from home, so we go on multiple shorter walks a day, but she knows her long walk is when I get off. As long as it's not raining, we spend 1 to 2 hours outside after I get off. My aunt and uncle live in the same apartment complex and their neighbors are hell. They're 2 old ladies with sour attitudes about everything and complain about the sky being blue. Just everything. They yell at anyone whose dog pees or poops on their yard, even though they clean it up. I purposely don't let my dog relieve herself on that patch of grass because I don't want to hear it. They're always making snide comments about my dog even walking across their yard, and today one of them came outside while my dog decided she wanted to sunbathe for a few minutes at the edge of the grass and started making snide, rude comments about my dog, me, and my family, all while not saying it to me, but to my dog. One of her repetitive comments was my dog should go on her own yard, and I had had enough. I told her I wasn't making my dog move anywhere, and if she wanted to stop and sunbathe for a few minutes during her walk, I wasn't going to stop her. She wasn't even barking. And I told her my rent pays for landscaping on this patch of grass just the same as everywhere else here, and she was laying a good 20 feet from their window, so go inside and mind her own business. My aunt thinks I should have just let it go. My uncle thinks she had it coming from being so nasty to the rest of the neighbors and us for so long. Am I wrong?